What is independent play? We'll do the what and the why. Independent play is time where your kids are alone, choosing what they do, playing either by themselves or with other kids their age. The reason why we do it that way is because for our kids, for the whole rest of their lives, they need to be able to be alone and make a decision. Independent play teaches kids decision making. It teaches kids discernment. It teaches kids frustration tolerance. It teaches them to tolerate their frustration because no one else is really around for them to, give it to. And it allows kids to start noticing when something went wrong, I was the one to fix it. Or when something went wrong, I was able to take a break from it. Or when something went wrong, I decided that it didn't matter that much to me anyway. All of these things are things that kids and skills that adults really need to have in order to be able to tolerate their own frustration and develop that confidence and resilience that we really want our kids to have access to. So, you might have heard this analogy before, but stick with me. A great way to think about what independent play is and isn't is to compare it to what sex is like for adults. So, independent play is a lot like sex in that it is great when you feel like you have some time and you don't really feel rushed and you feel like you get to pick what you do, right? And it can be really good when we're by ourselves and we want to be by ourselves. And it can be really good when we're with other people or with someone else who's excited to be there. And I think we can all agree that independent play, like sex, is at its best when your parents are not watching you. So think about our kids' independent play as time where they are by themselves or with other kids their age. They are picking what they do. There's no input from any adult guiding them or telling them what to be doing. And no adult is watching. Why no adult watching? I'll tell you about me. I'm not as good of a cook as Phil, my husband, is. And so if I am in the kitchen, even if he's like near me, even if he's just like on his phone or like on a phone call or not doing anything, not really actively watching me, if he's around and I'm in the kitchen and I'm following a recipe and I mistake, the salt for the sugar, which has happened before, or I just decide to cook something for longer, or I burn something, if he's around, I'm going to be much more conscious of how I fix that problem than if he's not watching. If I'm alone in the kitchen, I might decide to keep going, even though something got a little bit burnt, or I might decide to throw away the burnt item. But what's not there added to it is my feeling of, oh no, Phil's going to see this and he's going to think again that I'm not as good of a cook as he is, right? The added shame that can come with someone else seeing you fail. When we talked about frustration tolerance, we talked about you tolerating your frustration, you tolerating their frustration, them tolerating their own frustration, and them tolerating your frustration. All you have to worry about all one has to worry about during independent play is you tolerating your own frustration. And all of the other aspects of frustration don't come into it. And that's why independent play is so important, is because it's the one time where kids get to rely on themselves to either continue with the problem or stop worrying about a problem. And all of that is what allows our kids to start developing language in their heads of, hey, there was a challenge there and I solved it. That was hard and I did it. I was able to fix that and it wasn't as big of a deal as I thought. All of that self-language comes into your head when you are alone, seeing something unfold and deciding what to do next. Resilience is doing the next best thing and the next best thing and the next best thing until you're okay again. And independent play is about doing making the next best decision and the next best decision and deciding to give something up or deciding to keep trying or deciding to change it around in this different way. And you are the decision maker. And so then the next time something hard comes up, you're like, oh, well, I have it in me to make a decision here. I have it in me to do the next best thing and the next best thing and the next best thing until I'm okay again. That is the gift of independent play. Not to mention, when you have it up and running in your house, it can give you a lot of free time because your kid will be off playing. Independent play, getting it started from a kid going from zero independent play to 15, 20, 30, 45 minutes of independent play, it is an uphill battle. It is a hard road for about 6 weeks to get your kid to independent play. But just like, teaching your kid how to ride a bike, or just like teaching your kid addition, or just like helping your kid read, this is a skill that they need for their lives. And so it is worth the 6 weeks, 1 month or maybe 2 months, 4 to 8 weeks of discomfort that you can feel when you're getting independent play up and running.